Despite many SUVs constantly improving every year, the 2024 Nissan Rogue hasn't necessarily followed suit, with Nissan making some disappointing mistakes with this new model. So, to help ensure you're aware of the new Rogue's pitfalls, here are 7 reasons why you should avoid buying it. 1. It lacks oomph. When it comes to the new Rogue, you will quickly feel that its performance lacks a lot of zest, a key issue with it ever since it first launched. For example, the pre-2022 model's 181 horsepower wasn't exactly disappointing, but it sometimes felt it needed an extra kick, especially when filled with 5 passengers and cargo. When the 3rd generation of Rogue came out, it retained the somewhat sluggish non-turbo 2.5-liter 4-cylinder from its predecessor, resulting in a somewhat underwhelming acceleration. Now the 2023 and future 2024 Rogue models are powered by a turbocharged 1.5-liter 3-cylinder engine, producing a somewhat beefier 201 horsepower. However, it's not too much of an improvement. Paired with a continuously variable automatic transmission or CVT and a standard front-wheel drive, with all-wheel drive offered as optional, the new setup nudges the Rogue's 0 to 60 time to about 7.8 seconds, which isn't bad, but it's only a 0.4-second improvement from the previous model. The new turbocharged engine, while more punchy and up for overtaking, has its own set of issues. Drivers often report unsteady responses in everyday driving, a lagging reaction when pressing the gas pedal, followed by a sudden surge. As per one driver report, the engine tends to hesitate at around 30 miles an hour. The initial acceleration tends to lose power quickly, and the performance wanes considerably with the air conditioning on. Moreover, while the Rogue's fuel ratings stand at an impressive 30 miles per gallon in the city and 37 miles per gallon on highways, these numbers dip to 28 miles per gallon city and 35 highway with all-wheel drive. The Platinum trim might bring them down further to 34 miles per gallon on highways. Drivers have even reported barely touching 24 miles per gallon on the highway, so the real numbers are even lower. As of now, there are only rumors about future hybrid variants or engines with greater horsepower, but we don't know for sure. The 2024 model is expected to have a few aesthetic changes and some connectivity updates, like a new Google-based infotainment system. So if you're after more power or efficiency, you should explore other options. Despite the Rogue's decent comfort, cargo space, and features, it's not the most fuel-efficient or energetic in its category, sometimes leaving drivers wanting more, especially on highways. Number 2. Engine failure issues. Since we're still on the engine part, it's important to note some frequent complaints and malfunctioning issues from Rogue drivers. This time, it's not about the engine's lack of power and zest, it's about mechanical failures on the 2022 and 2023 Rogue. Most complain about errors stating, quote, engine malfunction, power reduced. This causes the gas pedal to stop working even when pushed to the floor. According to the Nissan dealerships, in most cases, it happened because of a faulty signal between the pedal and the engine. With a little bit of research, we found out this sort of problem dates back to the 2016 model, and it still happens on the newest version. Moreover, the Nissan throttle body is also problematic. For those of you who are curious, the purpose of the throttle body is to control how much air gets into the engine by using a valve that rotates inside a tube-shaped housing. As reported by many Rogue users, this faulty throttle body problem caused their cars to lose power suddenly, and in some cases, it can get dangerous. Imagine you're on a crowded highway or overtaking on a local road, and your car loses power out of the blue. Number 3. High-speed road noise. The Rogue stands out as a quite practical SUV in its segment, and it does have its merits for it. It boasts big doors that allow for easy access and a spacious cabin that's quite surprising given the SUV's compact size. However, when it comes to cabin noise insulation, the Rogue lags way behind its competitors. The poor soundproofing of the interior allows for lots of road noises and other exterior disturbances to enter the cabin. There's also the engine and transmission noise that will get on your nerves during long distances. The CVT transmission is a main pain point, not only when it comes to engine noise, but also to sluggish acceleration and poor power delivery. For 2024, Nissan has already announced a revamp that'll feature a more modern exterior, advanced tech, and better interior. We wonder whether they fixed the insulation problem. From Nissan's press release, we get that there are some new materials and finishes on the dashboard, door panels, seats, and center console. Additionally, the Platinum variant now offers an option for brown leather upholstery. The S and SV models retain the 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system, whereas the SL and the Platinum come equipped with a larger 12.3-inch display, integrating Google apps like Google Maps, Google Play, and Google Assistant. The SL further enhances the experience with a wireless charging pad and a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. The 8-inch screen supports Apple CarPlay via a wired connection, while the 12.3-inch screen in the SL and Platinum provides wireless smartphone mirroring. So yeah, great touches, but what about that road noise, Nissan? Number 4. Gas smell inside and outside the cabin. Current Nissan owners also complain about the gas smell. Apparently, you can feel it when standing near the car or even from inside the cabin. This problem affects most of the turbocharged 1.5-liter 3-cylinder engines that debuted in 2022 and are still used for the 2024 Rogue. As far as we know, Nissan hasn't announced any changes to its powertrain for the 2024 model, so chances are you'll buy next year's car with the same problem. Owners often complain that the smell occurs every time they drive the car on longer distances. According to official reports, the smell doesn't come from gas leaks, so you can rest assured. It's actually because of the faulty hoses Nissan uses for its PCV system. What's a PCV system? It's short for positive crankcase ventilation, and its purpose is to reroute blow-by gases from the engine back into the combustion chamber so it can burn off more and avoid harming the environment. Due to poor quality PCV hoses, people can basically smell these gas fumes as they pass through. If you already have a Nissan Rogue and you can smell the gas when standing near the car or inside the cabin, we advise you to go to your dealership and request to replace the PCV hoses. Number 5. Uncomfortable ride. The Nissan Rogue is quite a good choice when it comes to cargo space and practicality, and it's on par with bigger competitors such as the Mazda CX-5 and the Volkswagen Tiguan. However, once you pop the hood and look under the skin, you'll notice so many differences. While the CX-5 and the Tiguan are powered by the more typical 4-cylinder engines, the Rogue stands out with its unique turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. Unfortunately, leaving aside the performance inconsistency, that engine doesn't bring any smoother or more delightful driving feel either. On the road, especially on those that aren't perfectly smooth, the Rogue doesn't measure up to its top competitors. You feel every imperfection in the road. The car displays a lot of side-to-side movements over bumps and over rough patches. It's not what you'd expect from an SUV. So, it quite fails when it comes to performance, and it also fails short in the plush, comfortable ride department. Particularly the Platinum trim, equipped with 19-inch wheels, can feel somewhat rigid, resulting in a stiffer ride with noticeable tire noise. For those seeking a more cushioned and quieter ride experience, considering a lower-tier trim equipped with 17 or 18-inch wheels could be a wiser choice. Number 6. Transmission failures. Nissan Rogue's reliability suffered greatly in recent years because of its low-quality transmission. As we were discussing earlier in this video, the transmission is quite jerky and noisy, which greatly affects the engine's performance as well. Apart from that, it has also broken down on numerous occasions before the car reached 100,000 miles. The latest generation Rogue has a more reliable CVT that uses a steel chain instead of a steel belt, and it is a bit more reliable. However, there are still plenty of owners who are having problems with the Rogue's transmission these days. The problem usually starts with a certain humming noise during acceleration. It can turn into vibration, shaking, and even whining sounds. Interestingly, Nissan at first claimed that their transmissions don't need a fluid change at all during their lifetime. After numerous reports of failure, they've updated their information, saying that their CVT transmission requires updating the fluid every 60,000 miles. So, if you already are a Rogue driver or you plan on being one, keep this in mind and do your transmission maintenance regularly. Number 7. Problems braking or phantom braking. Current owners also complain about brake failures in their Rogue. Sometimes the brake pedal resists foot pressure. Other times the car does phantom braking. What does phantom braking mean? Well, occasionally, the Rogue's automated emergency braking system would unexpectedly activate, and the car would brake by itself even when the road ahead is clear of vehicles or other obstructions. The second-generation models appear more prone to this phenomenon, but it also happened on the 2022 or later models. Owners generally claim that their car stopped all of a sudden and their emergency braking warning beep was on. Some users have also reported an overly sensitive sensor, triggering frequent false alarms about potential frontal collisions. Additionally, a common error displayed on the dashboard is the front radar unavailable message, especially during bad weather conditions. In the meantime, Nissan issued a technical service bulletin or TSB to tackle these phantom braking concerns. By updating the braking system software, Nissan aimed to diminish these unexpected braking events. We hope that the new 2024 Rogue doesn't have this issue at all. The new Rogue is a decent, roomy, and comfortable SUV with plenty of standard tech features. However, we believe it's let down by the lack of power and a few reliability issues to be fully worth your money and keep its resale value high. Click the video on your screen to learn how another SUV blows the Rogue out of the water.